Hello students, welcome back to our live APS classes, and as all we know that this is our foundation course especially for the students from 9th to 12th, and in our today's live lecture we will discuss about the important objective questions regarding your NIIT 2021, and this is from your rapid revision part. So important 15 objective questions regarding the rapid revision for NIIT 2021 are to be discussed in our today's live lecture. And if you want to download all these important objective questions regarding your rapid revision for NIIT 2021, then go to the description box and then check the link given below. After that, you can easily download all these important objective questions regarding your rapid revision for NIIT 2021. So first of all, good evening to all the students who join with us our live APS classes, and welcome to all the students. Now let us start with our important objective questions regarding your rapid revision for NIIT 2021, and the subject is biology, and this is our part number 2. So let us start with our question number 1, and your question number 1 is the term decay of a species refers to. Your options are specific place where an organism lives, B, competitive power of an organism, C, specific function of an organism, D, specific and habitual function. So there are 4 options for the question number 1, that is the term decay of a species refers to either specific place where an organism lives, competitive power of an organism, specific function of an organism, and specific and habitual function. So out of the 4 options, only one option is the correct option. Competitive power of an organism is not the term decay of a species. Specific function of an organism is again not the term decay of a species, and the specific and habitual function is again not the term decay of a species, whereas the term decay of a species refers to specific place where an organism lives. Where an organism lives. So this is the right answer for the question number 1. Next is your question number 2, and your question number 2 is the genetic material inside into 174 has, your options are 48,502 nucleotides, second 5,386 nucleotides, C 1200 nucleotides, and D none of these. I repeat my question again. The genetic material in psi multiplied by 174 has 48,500 nucleotides, 5,386 nucleotides, 1,200 nucleotides, and D none of these. So there are 4 options for the question number 2. The genetic material in psi into 174 has not 48,502 nucleotides, not 1,200 nucleotides, but the genetic material in psi multiplied by 174 has 5,386 nucleotides. So this is the right answer for the question number 2. Next is your question number 3. It is your question number 3, and your question number 3 is how many effective codons are there for the synthesis of 20 amino acids? How many effective codons are there for the synthesis of 20 amino acids? Options are 64, 32, 60, and 61. How many effective codons are there for the synthesis of 20 amino acids? So 61 effective codons are there for the synthesis of 20 amino acids. That means 61 effective codons are there for the synthesis of 20 amino acids. Synthesis of 20 amino acids. So 61 is the right answer for the question number 3. Next is your question number 4, and your question number 4 is, this is your question number 4. And your question number 4 is, late blight of potato is caused by. Late blight of potato is caused by. Your options are TMB, that is tobacco mosaic virus, B, Xanthomonas oryzae, C, Puccinia graminis, and D is Phytophthora infestans. Phytophthora infestans. I repeat my question again. Late blight of potato is caused by. Your options are TMB, that is tobacco mosaic virus. Tobacco mosaic virus. B is Xanthomonas oryzae, C, Puccinia graminis tritici, and D is Phytophthora infestans. So late blight of potato is not caused by TMB, not caused by Xanthomonas oryzae, not caused by Puccinia graminis tritici, but late blight of potato is caused by Phytophthora infestans. So option D is the right answer for the question number 4. Next is your question number 5. It is your question number 5. So dear student, these are important objective questions regarding a rapid revision for NIIT 2021, and these questions are very important from the examination point of view as well as competitive point of view. So on the behalf of that reason, write down all these important objective questions on your notebooks. Next is your question number 5, and your question number 5 is, tissue present in the annual ring is. Tissue present in the annual ring is. Your options are secondary xylem and primary phloem. Next, primary xylem and primary phloem. Third, secondary xylem and secondary phloem. And fourth one is the primary phloem and secondary phloem. Tissue present in the annual ring. Present in the annual ring. So out of the 4 options, only one option is the correct option. Secondary xylem and primary phloem, primary xylem and primary phloem, secondary xylem and secondary phloem, and the last one is primary phloem and secondary phloem. So the right answer for the question number 5, that is tissue present in an annual ring, is secondary xylem and primary phloem. Secondary xylem and primary phloem. So this is the right answer for the question number 5. That is, the tissue present in an annual ring is secondary xylem and primary phloem. Next is your question number 6. And your question number 6 is, hotspots are priority areas for in situ conservation. The key criteria for determining a hotspot are. I repeat my question again. Hotspots are priority areas for in situ conservation. The key criteria for determining a hotspot are. Your options are location in developed, undeveloped country, vicinity to the sea, third, number of endemic species and degrees of threat, and last is all of these. Your options are location in undeveloped country, vicinity to the sea, number of endemic species and degrees of threat, and the last one is all of these. So hotspots are the priority areas for in situ conservation. The key criteria for determining a hotspot is the number of the endemic species and degrees of threat. So this is the right answer for the question number 6. Next is your question number 7. And your question number 7 is ovary is called inferior in. Ovary is called inferior in. Your options are epigynous condition, B perigynous condition, C hypogynous condition, and D none of these. Ovary is called inferior in. Options are epigynous condition, perigynous condition, hypogynous condition, and the last one is none of these. So there are 4 options and you will choose the right option for the question number 7. So ovary is called inferior in, not in the perigynous condition, not in the hypogynous condition, and even not in the perigynous, hypogynous as well as epigynous condition, but the ovary is called inferior in the epigynous condition. Inferior in epigynous condition. Epigynous condition. So this is the right answer for the question number 7. Next is your question number 8. And your question number 8 is the characteristic spores of diatoms are called. The characteristic spores of diatoms are called. Your options are ascospores, oxospores, zoospores, or basidiospores. The characteristic spores of diatoms. The characteristics spores of diatoms are called ascospores, B oxospores, C zoospores, and D is the basidiospores. Basidiospores. So that means out of the 4 options, only one option is the correct option for the question number 8. That is the characteristic spores of the diatoms are called either ascospores, oxospores, zoospores, and basidiospores. So the right answer for this question is spores of diatoms are called oxospores. Oxospores. So this is the right answer. Next is your question number 9. And your question number 9 is mammary glands are modified. Options are endocrine glands, sweat glands, sebaceous glands, and D all of these. तो mammary glands जो होते हैं वो modified होते हैं either in the endocrine glands, sweat glands, sebaceous glands, and D all of these. So mammary glands are not modified in the endocrine glands, not modified in the sebaceous glands, and even the mammary glands are modified in the sweat glands. The sweat glands. So this is the right answer for the question number 9. Next is your question number 10. And your question number 10 is polar bodies are produced during the formation of. Polar bodies are produced during the formation of. Options are spermatocytes, sperms, chondriocyte, and the last one is oogonium. I repeat my question again. Polar bodies are produced during the formation of. Polar bodies जो होती हैं वो produced होती हैं during the formation of either spermatocytes, sperm, chondriocyte, or the oogonium. So the polar bodies are produced during the formation of chondriocyte. secondary oocyte. This is the right answer. So here we complete 10 objective questions regarding the rapid revision for NIIT 2021. Now we shift to the question number 11. And your question number 11 is, which class of protozoa is totally parasitic? Which class of protozoa is totally parasitic? Examples are sporozoa, next mastigophora, and the third one is ciliata. इनमें से कौन सी क्लास है प्रोटोजोआ की जो कि टोटली पैरासिटिक है? ऑप्शंस हैं स्पोरोजोआ, मेस्टिगोफोरा एंड सिलिएटा. सो स्पोरोजोआ is the class of protozoa that is totally parasitic. That is totally parasitic. So this is the right answer for the question number 11. Next is your question number 12. And your question number 12 is, the movement in touch me not plant induced by touches. The movement in touch me not plant is induced by touches. Options are chemotropic, B, seismonestic, C, phototactic, and D1 is the epinestic. The movement in touch me not plant induced by touches, chemotropic, seismonestic, phototactic, and epinestic. So out of the four options, only one option is the correct option, and you will choose the right option for the question number 12. So the movement in touch me not plant is induced by the touches seismonestic. Seismonestic. So this is the right answer for the question number 12. Next is your question number 13. And your question number 13 is, the character that proves that frogs have evolved from the fishes is their ability to swim in water, tadpole larvae in frogs, similarity in the shape of the head, and the last one is their feeding on aquatic plants. I repeat my question again. The character that proves that frogs have evolved from the fishes is, options are their ability to swim in water, tadpole larvae in frogs, similarity in the shape of the head, and their feeding on aquatic plants. The character that proves that frogs have evolved from the fishes is tadpole larvae in the frog. Tadpole larva in frogs. So this is the right answer for the question number 13. Tadpole larva in the frogs. Next is your question number 14. And your question number 14 is, the flow of energy in the ecosystem is, options are bidirectional, cyclic, unidirectional, or multidirectional. The flow of energy in the ecosystem is, options are bidirectional, B cyclic, C unidirectional, and D is multidirectional. It is your question number 14. So the flow of energy in the ecosystem is, unidirectional. Unidirectional. So it is your question number 14. The flow of energy in this ecosystem is unidirectional. And it is our last question, last important objective question regarding your rapid revision for NIIT 2021. That is our question number 15. And your question number 15 is primary succession on land occurs as, options are lichen give rise to mosses, mosses give rise to annual grass, and annual grass give rise to shrubs, and shrubs give rise to trees. Second one is mosses give rise to lichens, lichens give rise to annual grass, and annual grass give rise to shrubs, and shrubs give rise to trees. Third one is plankton, plankton give rise to submerged, submerged give rise to floating stage. After the floating stage, marsh stage. After the marsh stage, climax stage. And the last one is all of these. So the primary succession on land occurs as lichens give rise to mosses, mosses give rise to annual grass, annual grass give rise to shrubs, and after the shrubs it forms the trees. So this is the primary succession that occurs on the land. So here we complete important 15 questions regarding your rapid revision for NIIT 2021, and these questions are very important from the examination point of view as well as your competitive point of view. So on the behalf of that reason, dear students, write down all these important questions on your notebook, and on the behalf of that you can easily revise all these questions again and again. And कल हम जो है इसी टाइम पर इसी समय पर आपके साथ दोबारा से नए इम्पॉर्टेंट ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस के साथ दोबारा रैपिड रिवीजन में हम जो है कल इसी समय पर दोबारा मिलेंगे. तब तक जो है वो आप इन क्वेश्चंस को रिवाइज करें. एंड वंस अगेन गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स हु ज्वाइन विद अस